Yeah, so as part of this video, let us see how do we add pivot tables in Excel and what does a pivot table, what what all things can a pivot table can do. I'll demonstrate it using a live use case from one of a project use case. Typically, project managers they require how is the status of a project, what is the health of the project, how much is the expenditure on the project and all. And there are tools like Oracle projects, Microsoft projects, and other centralized project tracking tools which keep track of how many people are working and how much effort are they spending in a particular activity. So this is one sample table of that on with which signifies certain transaction ID. Each row entry is an entry by a person and against what project activity or task for this project ID. This is the task ID. A person, somebody named sales or a person has logged in n number of hours, and this is the cost which it translates to cost based on the salary that person is drawing from the company. So this is a one on 8th March that person has logged 2 hours and it would translate to this much cost for the company. Now every transaction, every time somebody logs an hour, that gets logged in. If you go a little bit below, somebody named NCE with skill 1, they had logged 3 hours on 21st of August. Again, they logged in a delivery subtask. So we would need to know how much effort each of the team members have spent on the project and what is how much has the cost has occurred so far. So how do we do it is we select the complete sheet, and the complete sheet is like first row should have the table titles, table row titles, and the subsequent rows have the entries in that. So you select via the top left corner, insert, and pivot table. Now it will ask what is the table range you selected. So because we selected the complete sheet, it is and there are rows and columns till A to R. So it has selected complete columns till A to R. Dollar signifies all rows in that sheet. Now where do you want to project that pivot table to? You can project in an existing sheet or in a different range, but let's choose a new sheet. So this is the pivot table. Now pivot table is more like look at the right hand side pop-up. There are rows, there are columns. The rows signifies what all entries you would want to place in this side of the table. It creates a 2D table basically. On the column side, on the top side of the row, in this form of an Excel sheet, what all entries you want to keep it there, what all entries you want to keep in rows, and what would be the cell values which you want. So basically, rows were defined, columns were defined, what will be the values in the cell side. So now, because we want to know number of hours logged by per person, so let's figure out what is the employee name or employee or supplier as the row. So it is going to row, you can drag it here, saying that I want, okay. So the moment I selected it, it automatically, pivot table gets adjusted to it. So these are the resources which have so far logged in their hours into the sheet. Now, what I would want to know is what is their total consumption of hours? How many hours have they logged? So let us see. There is an activity named unit of measurement. It is the hours tracker in the sheet. So it says count of unit of measurement. We can make it as columns here that in the column section how many this unit of measurement is measured in currency and hours. If somebody is logging in currency or somebody is logging as hours. But we want to know what is the total value of each of the hours respective people have logged in. So we would drag down this unit of measurement here and say count. This entry, whichever is here, it populates the cell contents. Now there are two options. You can say count will occur occurrences of how many entries have been seen there in the table. But you can change this field setting to sum, because we would want that for each person, how many hours that guy has logged, there should be a complete sum of those entries. Then that will tell you the actual values. You can select other fields like average, maximum, minimum of all the entries found for that person. So it gives you sum. You can drag and drop it like this here also. So you remove the sum and it's a count of quantity. Instead we will make it sum of quantity. So this tells me how many instances are there and what is the sum of each of these entries in that. So by looking at this table now, I can get a crisp picture that a backend PM has logged 3 hours into the project. The prime project manager, he has logged 70 hours, and 35 is the currency he has spent on the project. The currency is a unit of money. It is like he would have spent dollars amount, maybe some expenses he would have claimed during project execution and all. That's what is logged out here as currency. So in a single snapshot, total 720 hours have been logged, and 310 currency units have been uh, spent on the project. Using this expenditure query itself, you can easily get it. And if you want to validate it, let's see unit of measurement and just select only currency. So there is 35 and 275, and we can see that in our pivot table 35 and 275 have rightly been reflected here. Similarly, let's select, hey, how much time a backend PM has logged in. It's showing us 3 hours. Is it correct? So we'll clear this previous filter and then say select only person as the backend PM. So yes, he's logged 111 hours, so 3 instances, and the sum of that 3 is 3. So that's the case here. Similarly, let's say prime project manager. Here the sum and count are equal, so we'll just try to see a scenario where it is different. So you would see a prime project manager has logged this much quantity of hours, and if you took a total sum, it shows like 105. Oh, sorry, currency need to be separated. So in terms of hours, this is showing 70, and that's what our sheet is telling. So using this way, people can generate a summarized view of the project in a 2D table. That's prime pivot tables for you. There is another field. When you have selected certain columns and employee suppliers here, you can create some filters also. I want to just, let's say, see only currency as the entry and nothing else. So I can make UAM as one of the filters, and in this filter I would select, hey, this, instead of selecting all, I just want currency R's inputs. That's it. So this becomes my filter and my output becomes sum of quantity. What is the quantity out here? Done. So you can selectively create certain filters for overall table, and you can get it segregated as filtered by this particular entry. Or there is another scenario I can share. Let's say I want to know the currency and everything out here, but I just don't want some pre-sales related efforts that has been effort on the project spent on the project to be uh, accounted anywhere in my reports. So I can select task, and from the task, oh sorry, task is different one. Task name is the one which identifies. I can remove this. Task name, I'll say uh, ignore any pre-sales aspects and give me other inputs. So that ignores pre-sales and everything. It becomes only deliverable items within ourselves. Now there are we see there are columns here, and currency is selected out, so we'll select currency also, so that within column sections also you have ability to filter out these areas. I hope that clarifies some of the features of pivot tables. Another extension of these pivot table is like this is an extended view wherein people have selected currency, how many people have spent how much time, this is the spent, this is the actual cost, and one table is like this. Against what task, this is like hours and effort spent, and this is like activities accomplished by people. So different views here, different people are here, and the tasks, how much effort have been spent against tasks. This is a different view setting. If you look at this view setting, it is more like uh, unit of measurement, task name, employee is on the column side here, and sum of quantities into this table. I hope that gives you a good decent view of how do you create pivot tables and manage pivot tables. Thank you. All the best.